Hi, my name is Nitra Robinson, and this video will be about reading literacy specialists, their roles and responsibilities. My role as a reading literacy specialist within the school leadership team and among staff will be to make connections and build relationships with my students, staff, colleagues, and the community that will give each student the opportunity to be successful in reading, no matter if they are a novice or distinguished reader. COVID has historically changed the dynamics of where many of our students are as readers. This worldwide pandemic shut down the world and affected many students of all ages, but especially our students who had to miss school at the beginning stages of when most students are learning to read. Students that suffer from dyslexia, dysgraphia, and our ELL students were also affected in a major way. The greatest change is the amount of help needed to get these students where they need or should be when we consider where we want them to be regarding being on grade level or higher. Helping all students that have missed so much of their learning for reading instruction during the COVID years was and still is a hurdle that schools across America are still trying to overcome. My role as a reading literacy specialist is to support theoretical and evidence-based foundational knowledge for all educators to enforce and encourage the standards and protocols that are put in place by my district and the state in which I teach and reside. My district has made it mandatory for all K through 6 teachers to become certified in the science of teaching reading. There is a course that is 80 hours long, and if you have been in the classroom for over 2 years, you can take this course, but you have to pass it. However, if you are a new teacher and you are trying to obtain your certification, you have to take a test, and in some cases, you still may have to take this 80-hour course of Science of Teaching Reading in order to obtain your teaching certification. This course and in conjunction with this test is put in place to help educators have a better understanding of how to help their students no matter what subject you teach. Ultimately, the goal is to get students to read. It is important that non-reading and writing teachers for them, because if a student cannot read, then they will struggle with writing as well. Collaborating with teachers and to support student learning and literacy, the vision of my school district includes being active and present. Being present includes being involved in planning and the training, being a part of the process for the PLCs, vertical alignment meetings, observations, stepping in to help when needed, tutoring one-on-one for students who are most at risk, working as a team to analyze data, and finding tools that will benefit the student and the educator both as a whole. Finding ways to have student success academically in their reading as a whole, figuring out what works and what does not work when it comes to finding growth for these students on their benchmarks, on their fluency reading tests, and the testing that is provided to us through our district, and offering that support for the students and the teachers as well. I will use the most valuable tool that I have at my disposal whenever it comes to understanding the reading literacy. Taking the data from the protocols that have been put in place to show growth is vital for analyzing how the students are doing and understanding the comprehension component and the phonics, as well as the steps to becoming more efficient readers. This data will tell the educators and provide more information on the approaches that are taken on helping students to show growth. It tells us if they're stabilizing or if they are actually regressing. As a reading literacy specialist, I will remain open-minded as well as free-thinking when it comes to my students, their parents, and colleagues. I will respect and do my best to understand the diverse cultures, values, morals, and religious freedoms of the people that I work with and for, considering the language barriers and making sure that I have the right tools to remove any potential obstacles for the support of my students, families, and my colleagues, all while leading by example and walking like Christ tells us to, loving our neighbors, giving and showing respect, and having compassion, as well as giving compassion to one another.